And so even though understanding can be useful, I'm a fan of good, clear understanding. I try to be as clear as I can in teaching. Sometimes I succeed, I suppose, sometimes I don't. But I always try, as I say, I try to fail well. I will always fail at putting deep experience and perception into words, but I think we can fail really good sometimes when we're at our best. So if you can't even give someone the experience of an orange by explaining it to them, you can't give someone the experience of simultaneous occurring almost dimensions of human experience through understanding. A PhD will not give it to you. It'll give you the understanding. It won't give you the taste. It won't give you the reality of it. It might help orient you in the right direction, but at some point we have to step off of the cliff of ideas. Ideas get you to the frontier, the boundary of your mind. But you have to step off. You have to step into direct knowing. You have to make that leap from understanding to revelation. And the only thing you can really do is avail yourself of revelation. And going back into Sargadatta's teaching, that beautiful, simple teaching of dwelling in the sense of I am, or in my teaching, I just call it dwell in the sense of I, whatever works for you. That's a way of stepping off the cliff. That's of understanding. That's a way of availing yourself to revelation, to grace. Because when you're dwelling in the sense of something, you're not caught up into all your ideas again. So it's kind of a transitory state, a transitory thing to be doing. It's a transition. It's helping you to transition. But the revelation, grace, always comes on its own accord, all by itself. And that takes, we have to have a kind of humility, because often grace comes when we're in a state of humility. It doesn't generally come when we go, I'm ready for it, I'm ready to break through, boy, am I, today's going to be the day. And that's almost never the day, is it? Usually it's the day where it's just like you're just walking along and boom. Something happens. You're gifted. And anybody can be gifted. Anybody can have a revelation. People that are pursuing spiritual interests, people who have nothing to do with spiritual interests. Atheists can have spiritual revelation. And it can come completely out of the blue, unwanted, unasked for. There's no real prerequisite. But if you took 1,000 people and said, okay, this 1,000 people are going to have no interest in spirituality, they're not going to pursue anything, they're just going to go on with their life, and these 1,000 people are going to do some sort of useful, good, because that's key, good, not just useless, but good spiritual practice. I hate using the word because it implies so much effort and struggle, but to me, spiritual practice done with the right attitude isn't a lot of overt effort and struggle, but that's a whole other subject. The group of the people who are doing something, they're actually addressing their spiritual lives. There's going to be way more in that group that are going to awaken than in the other group. It doesn't mean the other group that nobody will. Somebody probably will. But many, many, many times more are going to awaken when they're actually putting themselves forth. Even though they can't create the awakening, even though it always has a spontaneity to it, an element of what feels to be grace, that doesn't mean that what you do has no importance. I would say what you do has great importance. There's no direct cause and effect relationship, but that doesn't mean there's no relationship at all. There is a relationship. It's just not direct. It's not like if I do this, this will happen. It's more indirect.